Did y'all see that Mathew Knowles, Beyonce's daddy, former manager, fathered another child? I don't even want to call them like love child because it was clearly just a hit and run. Another child, 4 years old. It's a girl this time. Her name is Coy. The DNA just came through, and you can't deny it. It's his daughter. So, who's surprised?
I'm not surprised. Mathew is definitely out here in these streets with these young girls, and I just kind of feel bad because I feel like there's nothing that he can do to even change his image, like for his daughters, because they want nothing to do with him. And then it's like, even when you can tell like he's trying to like get back in their good graces some way somehow, it just like something else comes. Yeah, something else pops up. So I don't know. Maybe we should just stay tuned to see what other mess comes up for him. But I mean, at the end of the day, Miss Tina's on a yacht, sipping champagne and looking very happy and snatched. Okay, so
I didn't know he was trying to make things right with them. I mean, especially after he got on the radio and was talking about, Beyonce and Jay-Z, they could have done everything in the elevator to try and, steer ticket sales or whatnot. I just think Mathew is just messy. Like, he's just, and it's not like things have just popped up like, oh, I'm trying to get right with my kids and, oh, woe is me, this keeps popping up. No, these are children that you had that you keep denying. Like you wasn't messing with these women, and these ain't young girls. It's one kind of young girl and then one older woman, and he was out here just sowing his seeds. After Tina was like, you know what, you ain't got no act right. He's like, oh, I don't do it. Just went out and had sex with whoever.
And in addition to being messy, he's reckless as all hell because these are two kids that we know about. We don't know if there are more out there, and furthermore, we don't know how many women he's had unprotected sex with. Like. These two flings resulted in 2 kids, but how many other women were there that you were raw dogging with that we don't know about? Like, that's you too old for that mess, Mathew.
Oh, girl, somebody really, his wife, if I were his wife, I would really be making sure that he's like good.
Hell the other way. Like, Mathew, I would not touch him with a 10-foot pole.
So do you think they should reach out, like Beyonce and Solange should reach out to the younger siblings?
Well, they speak in that same article, he said that they have like every Sunday they have like a phone conversation. That's what he says. Who knows? But I don't know, coming from a blended family, I think it is good to have relationships with your half siblings because I feel like if you don't, it just caters to more disregarded feelings and emotions, especially when you get older.
I don't know that it would take me some time to wanna, become close with a child that my father had, on my mother or whatever, just a random, that's a lot. And like you said, Beyonce walking up in this woman's house, either of them, because they both seem to be attention seekers to me. To walk up in there, like you don't know who's leaking what to tabloids, who's snapping pictures of what.
Right.
I wouldn't, I don't know. It would take a lot. It would take a lot, and it would take a lot of healing for me to get there.
Lolo Jones, she was on this season of Dancing with the Stars. Did y'all see that she was eliminated week 1, first time just out the bat? Her cha-cha was pretty bad. and she was eliminated. Not only, but Lolo didn't go quietly. She when the judges were trying to give her critique, she could barely let them get a word in edgewise, and she was just cutting them off like, I know I sucked, it was terrible. I know, no excuses. I've done so much better in rehearsals, and it was just really weird. And so she wrote this letter after she was eliminated. She wrote this letter saying, she's tired of losing. She feels embarrassed and ashamed, and she's sad that, she wanted to prove this point that she could be a winner, and it didn't go like that. She said God had other plans. So, do y'all feel sorry for Lolo?
Absolutely not. Of course, God has other plans because you continuously rag on people on Twitter. You humiliate people all the time. And then when it happens to you, then it's like you're pulling out a psalm. Are you serious? So no, like I have no words. Like I saw it yesterday and it's like, it is unfortunate because if you're in a competition, you want to go further, but at the same time, given her character, it's like, this is a clear sign of karma. Like it's real, this is a spiritual law, and this is what you're reaping.
Done and done.
Washing your hands. Somebody put a root on her. For real, because she can't get a break. But at the same token, I don't feel any type of way about it. I mean, like, come on, with the whole personal essay. Like, come on, this is Dancing with the Stars. Like, you weren't supposed to come out the gate and be, like, amazing. if you wanted to do better, you would have practiced and done better, and it happens. Like, this isn't like, oh, I don't understand why I can't win this Olympic event. This is Dancing with the Stars. You suck. It happens. A lot of people get kicked off from first week. Stop trying to do the woe is me, because really it's like, she's like low-key kind of a terrible person. Like, she's just always saying really just disrespectful things. And it's like, I feel like she just wanted, and I think she knew she looked kind of stank. Oh, you look crazy as hell on TV, not only because you had a stank face, but because you was doing the stiffest cha-cha of all time. And so, no, I'm sorry. I don't feel bad. Right, taking it back. No, where's my phone? No, I don't feel sorry. For Lolo, Lolo Jones. For Lolo Jones.
Lolo Jones. That's what I said in my essay yesterday. When I wrote it, I was like, I feel like Rachel Gentile is somewhere like cracking up. You shouldn't have talked about me. And the fact that she was talking about Rachel Gentile like when she was in the midst of this like traumatic trial, come on, boo, nah. That's like Lauren. That's like what you say yesterday. God don't like ugly. That's not gonna work.
And she's the clear epitome of that. Like if it was to be in like a thesaurus or a dictionary or whatever, like her picture would be right next to it.
But that's why I feel sorry for her, because I feel like she doesn't even grasp it. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't. I don't think she understands that what she's putting out there is what she's receiving in return. That's why I feel sorry for her, because she doesn't get it.
That's true. She's just not aware. She just bypasses everything. Then it's like, God is gonna show me. No.
Did y'all see Adrian Peterson? It seems like no one in the NFL can keep their hands to themselves. Or, okay, so the thing is, Adrian Peterson disciplined his 4-year-old son and left welts on his legs, on his back. There was a piece of his scrotum was injured during the whole thing. And all this was because his 4-year-old son like hit another child, and Adrian wanted to make sure he didn't continue to do this. So he was arrested for child abuse, and then when all of this came through, he was like, I didn't abuse my child. Like, this is what discipline is. I love my child, and that's how I showed that I don't want him to make the wrong mistakes. And this is how my parents disciplined me, and I turned out right. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think there's a line between discipline and child abuse? And do you think he crossed it?
He crossed it, because the injuries, the pictures, they spoke for themselves. I mean, it's one thing to discipline a child, spank them, even maybe whip them with a belt, even though I know people will say that's not a good look too. But when you leave those type of injuries on a 4-year-old, it's just ridiculous. With a 4-year-old, you're supposed to just find another way to when they're so young, you have to find another way to let them know what you're doing is wrong, and this is why, and this is what we're going to do about it, instead of beating them like they stole something on the streets. Like,
when I first heard the story, because I didn't see the pictures first, I just heard the story, and I felt like the span, everybody's like, oh, the switch, and they got to give the definition of the switch, and for a lot of black people, that's normal, whatever. So when I first heard it, I was just like, oh, they're blowing this out of proportion, blah, blah, blah. But when I saw the pictures, I was like, all right, maybe it was a lot. And he did send the child's mother a text message and was like, I disciplined him, and I felt bad because later on I saw that the switch wrapped around his leg and it hit him in the scrotum. And so this is how Adrian was disciplined. So I don't think that he felt like he was abusing his child, but maybe it's time for him and maybe others to step back and think about, the way they discipline their kids physically.
So do you guys think that the way we discipline our kids is a direct correlation to slavery? Because to me, when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, I think it's a reason why people don't beat their kids like that. I feel like when you wanted to, black people across, the diaspora, when you wanted to teach a child not to do something, you revert back to how you were taught not to do something. And that was through a whooping or beating or whatever. I don't know, where does that come from though?
Well, my grandmother, because that's the only person I've ever seen pull out a switch was my grandmother, and she's from Mississippi. So there you go. But I don't know. I just feel like there are more creative ways to discipline a child. Like, it doesn't have to always be that. That may have to be a component, but it doesn't always have to be, that.
And I saw this statistic, and it was like they interviewed prisoners, and they were like 90% of them were like beaten by their parents. So it's like people who say, oh, I was beaten and I'm fine. But that's just your personality. For some people, that doesn't work. And so I think people really do need to be more creative and really start to think about, okay, what's going to work for my child?
Yeah.
Do I have to beat my child just because I was beaten as a child?
Right.
All right, y'all. Let's move on. This is too heavy. Danielle Watts. She's an actress. People may have seen her in Django Unchained. And recently, first off, the story is so full of holes. The woman said that she was with her. First, she claimed he was her husband. He's a white guy. Then she claimed they were making out in the car. Other people said they were having sex. Cops were called. She was put in handcuffs. He was just standing there videotaping the whole thing. The cops asked for her ID. She refused to give her ID. And now TMZ's come up with all these pictures, and it looks like, they were doing more than kissing. Her breasts were exposed. There was like a wipe down situation, period. So what do y'all think? What's going on with Danielle?
I don't know if she was having full on sex. It's possible, because they just looked like they was wilding, but...
Doors all open.
Yeah, they was doing a lot. If it was just a make-out session, it was very heavy. But I don't know. I feel like she just tried to make this issue into something that it wasn't. She tried to make it about race, and it was just, just show the man your ID and keep it moving. Like, why we gotta do all of this?
I think that there are a couple who are exhibitionists and they like to have sex in public because it gives them that necessary adrenaline rush to satisfy their orgasms. And therefore, that being said, she is maybe because she's in an interracial relationship and the cop had to come, maybe she feels like, oh, he's trying to attack me being a black woman and my sexuality. I really think that's where it went. She really went left. The extended audio, like he's just asking for your ID, and then you're you're just talking about the Constitution, telling your father to speak to the cop. Like it just really went
your
left.
Stepmother is dying.
Your stepmother is dying. I really think it just went left for what you and your man like to do together. And maybe you guys need to use your imagination more instead of physically performing this act in front of children.
Right.
Sometimes we just do way too much. The man wants to see your ID. I would hope that he didn't just pull her out the car immediately and handcuff her. No. Like, I would hope that he asked for her ID first and then she acted a fool. Like, why do you need to act a fool?
Right.
Like, you don't work here and you're sitting squat up on him, like, in front of the office building with the doors open. But your first thought shouldn't be like, no, you can't have my ID. I'm black and I'm proud and I feel like this and this is the land of the brave and the whole people free and I can have sex in my car in front of this office building if I want to and you're racist. And it's like, no, boo-boo. Now you just made this like, and when people have real issues
it's not taken seriously.
It's not taken seriously because you wanted to act a fool in the car with your boo, and now you want to get some publicity because you played maid number 15 in Django Unchained. Like, I just can't.
The shade.
Bro, they showed her and I was like, who is this? So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
And
so just do better. That's all I'm saying. Do better because you knew what you was doing in that car. Even if you wasn't having sex, you knew you shouldn't have been out there. And why are you making that big of a fuss when somebody want to see your ID? People literally
lose
get
their
gunned down
lives
over bullshit, like for real, like when they're just doing their thing, and all you had to do was give this random man your ID. Other people don't have that option.
And the police officer didn't originally approach her. He approached a boyfriend, and then she saw him, and she was like, "What is going on?" And it's like, this is why it went left. And the officer said, "I would have been gone if I just got the ID. You guys are not doing lewd acts right now, like, so I don't even know what happened."
He probably would have told him, get the hell out of here with that.
Yeah, that's all he said. He was like, I'm here at the scene. There's no lewd acts taking place, so I just need IDs, and I'll be around. Go on my way. So yeah.
It was blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
Messing up for
because people felt really sorry for her initially.